In ancient times, the world was a place of mystery and magic, full of ancient beings and primordial forces. Each divinity, with its uniqueness, represented a fundamental aspect of the universe: fire, water, night, and day. However, among these powerful gods, one stood out for his unique and enigmatic nature. He did not belong entirely to the starry firmament, nor did he feel completely bound to the robust and fertile earth. This being, a nexus between the earthly and the divine, was known as Quetzalcoatl, the Feathered Serpent. Quetzalcoatl was neither a simple serpent nor a mere bird. He was a majestic spectacle for anyone who observed him. His long serpentine body was covered with scales that shone with an iridescent glow, and his wings, huge and majestic, were covered with feathers that dazzled with a palette of colors that changed with every movement, reflecting all the hues of the sky at dawn and dusk. The legends said that their birth resulted from the union of the deepest desires of Quetzalcoatl, the goddess of the earth. One day, the gods gathered in the Great Hall of Eternity. The vast hall was illuminated by astral lights that reflected on the mirrored surfaces of the room. In the center, a circular table, made of a material unknown to mortals, glowed. Tlaloc, the rain god, was the first to speak. Mankind, though fragile, has a potential that has yet to be discovered. They must learn to respect the earth that provides for them and the heavens that guide them. Quetzalcoatl, the goddess of beauty and love, replied, "But they are young and ignorant of the ways of the universe. They need guidance and direction." It was then that Tezcatlipoca, with his smoking mirror, proposed a challenge. "If we believe that humanity is worthy, then let us send one of us to teach them, to show them the right path." The proposal led to a murmur of discussion among the divinities. Some feared that humanity would abuse such knowledge, while others firmly believed in their ability to grow and prosper. But one thing was clear: they needed someone to link the heavens and the earth. Finally, everyone's gaze fell on Quetzalcoatl. With his dual nature, his connection to earth and sky, and his unmatched wisdom, he was the perfect candidate. His scales shone with a light reminiscent of the first dawn, and his feathers seemed to contain the entire spectrum of the rainbow. "Quetzalcoatl," began Tonatiuh, the sun god, "you are the chosen one to descend to earth and give mankind the gift of wisdom, agriculture, and civilization. Teach them to live in harmony with the world around them." Quetzalcoatl knew that this would be a challenging journey, but he was willing to take on the responsibility that the gods had entrusted to him. Thus, with the celestial mandate granted, he prepared for his journey to the mortal realm, carrying with him the future and destiny of mankind. The dawn was beginning to tinge the horizon with shades of pink and gold when a spiral of light descended from the heavens. The wind sang a soft melody, and from the distance, bright flashes began to form the figure of Quetzalcoatl. With a blinding radiance, the feathered serpent touched the ground of Mesoamerica. Its scales glowed a bluish green, and its feathers, vibrant and constantly moving, seemed to dance in the breeze. The first encounter with humans was in a village on the outskirts of what would later become known as the great city of Teotihuacan. The people, with eyes full of awe, knelt in reverence, sensing the power and majesty of the deity before them. But Quetzalcoatl, in his infinite wisdom, did not seek subjugation. He approached them with curiosity, studying their faces and touching their skin and hair. His voice, deep and melodic, spoke to them not in tones of command but of teaching. He showed them how to plant corn, how to use the stars to guide their crops, and how to build homes that would withstand both the heat of the day and the cold of the night. The people gratefully offered him hospitality, and so began Quetzalcoatl's journey across the vast territory. Wherever he went, he left behind him a trail of progress and understanding. Deserts flourished, jungles became refugees, and rivers became sources of life and commerce. In the mountains of Oaxaca, he taught the inhabitants the delicate art of pottery and weaving. In the plains of Tlaxcala, he instructed on the techniques of warfare, always emphasizing the importance of peace and mutual understanding. However, it was not all work for the Feathered Serpent. In the evenings, he would gather with the elders and children of each community, sharing stories of the cosmos, creating constellations in the night sky, and leaving legends that would be passed down from generation to generation. Months turned into years, and although Quetzalcoatl knew his time on Earth was limited, he did his best to instill in mankind wisdom and love for nature and the gods. Quetzalcoatl's arrival on Earth was like a dawn in the darkness. Everywhere he went, nature seemed to vibrate with a new energy, and people were drawn to him like butterflies to a bright light. The first teaching he gave was that of corn, the sacred grain. With his hands, he showed the men and women how to plant and harvest. He taught them to revere the earth, for it was she who gave them sustenance. "From the earth we come, and to it we shall return," he would say as his fingers touched the fertile soil, making the seed germinate with astonishing ease. As the communities learned the art of agriculture, Quetzalcoatl showed them how to capture their history and wisdom in codices, using natural dyes and prepared skins. He taught them the language of numbers and the stars, enabling them to track the passage of time and predict the changing seasons. In city squares and on mountaintops, he instructed artisans in the creation of majestic sculptures and temples. These places would not only be spaces of worship but also centers of learning where future generations would continue the tradition of acquiring knowledge. However, the most important teaching Quetzalcoatl provided was not technical or practical but spiritual. He spoke of the importance of living with balance and respecting the duality of existence, day and night, life and death, good and evil. He taught that every human being carries within him a divine spark and that, by honoring it, the entire cosmos is honored. With each teaching, Quetzalcoatl weaved a stronger bond with humanity. People began to see him not only as a god but also as a teacher, a guide, and a friend. Cities flourished under his tutelage, and the landscape of Mesoamerica was transformed, reflecting the wisdom and grace of the Feathered Serpent at every turn. However, in the shadows, Tezcatlipoca, the elusive god of the smoking mirror, was jealous of the admiration humanity bestowed on Quetzalcoatl. Tezcatlipoca, ever-changing and cunning, represented the dark side of human nature, deceit, discord, and envy. One day, Tezcatlipoca decided to confront his rival. Taking advantage of his ability to manipulate perceptions, he created a series of illusions that presented Quetzalcoatl in compromising and dishonorable situations. In his deluded state, Quetzalcoatl believed he had betrayed humanity and the gods, feeling unbearable shame. Moreover, Tezcatlipoca took advantage of a feast in honor of Quetzalcoatl to give him pulque, a sacred, intoxicating drink. Under the influence of pulque and Tezcatlipoca's illusions, Quetzalcoatl committed acts that, when he awoke, filled him with remorse. Rumors, fueled by Tezcatlipoca's deceptions, began to spread throughout Tula. The citizens, confused and hurt, began to question their benevolent leader. The doubts planted in their hearts grew into fear and distrust. Although many still believed in the Feathered Serpent, the shadows of doubt had settled in. Devastated and believing he had lost the respect and love of his people, Quetzalcoatl decided to leave Tula. It is said that he traveled eastward toward the sea, where he immolated himself. However, instead of dying, he transformed himself into the morning star, promising to return someday to reclaim his place among the gods and men. Tezcatlipoca's deception had succeeded, but at a high price. Although he had succeeded in exiling his rival, Quetzalcoatl's departure left a void in the hearts of mankind that could never be filled.